Hello and welcome to Andy's FPL Apprentice. We're back with another team selection video ahead of Game Week 11. Plenty to cover on today's video. We'll be looking at the best replacements for Trent and for James, as well as possibly for Mitrovic as he might be out. And we'll talk about what to do with your Man City and Arsenal players ahead of their blank. So if you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing to the channel, give the video a like, and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. And without further ado, we'll jump straight into it. So I'm joined, as always, by the star of the show, Will. How you doing, buddy?
Very good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks.
Excellent.
So not too bad a game week 10 for me. Finished on 73 points, which was a little green arrow. I think it takes me up to just outside the top half mil. Stars of the show really for me. Cancelo for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 points. I've sort of been considering getting rid of him ahead of the blank and then looking at bringing him back in again.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of reasons why I probably won't do that, but certainly his haul this week is one of them. Trippier with 7. Zaha getting himself an assist. Bowen getting himself a nice 7 points as well. He's been cracking since I brought him in. I don't think he did that great. I think he was just on penalties, which helped.
Yeah.
Martinelli, 12 point. He was superb. And my premium strikers with a goal apiece. Nothing majorly exciting, but I'm not going to complain too much about Haaland only getting a 6-pointer.
Only getting the one.
Yeah, I had Andreas sitting on the bench, and I benched Mitrovic kind of knowing that he wasn't going to play. And it gave me a choice between Gay or Andreas, and I made the wrong pick there, but so be it. It's a 5-point swing, but not the end of the world. How was your game week 10 looking?
I had an okay week. I was above average with 67 points. I have many similar players to you. So Cancelo, Trippier, Zaha, Martinelli, and Haaland. You've already mentioned. At the time, Anderson was on a yellow flag, so I popped in James, but he got 1 point and an injury, so not a great game for him. Salah once again did next to nothing, as did Gross, and as did my new signing Trossard. Who also just got 2 points apiece for all three of those. Tony got himself an assist in an otherwise massive drubbing at Newcastle, but I know a goal because he got a yellow card as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
That's why it's 5 points.
Penalty, wasn't it? I think
it was a penner, and that was the only goal of the game. I put some faith in Ward for once because I thought that Leicester had an easier game, and obviously coming off a 4-0 win the week before, I thought they were in a good spot. But no, he let me down. I mean, Sanchez only got 2, to be fair, so it wasn't a huge difference. But I was hoping for maybe a bit of a swing on Ward that other people may not have had.
In fairness, I think it was probably the right shout. Like, they did have the better fixture, they just didn't play very well.
Didn't pan out, no.
In all honesty, but yeah, I sort of think that's still the right call. You can't always judge the outcome and say it was the wrong decision. Sometimes it just doesn't pan out for you.
No, it does not.
So how's your team shaping up for next week then? You've obviously got two transfers again, just used the one last week, so rolled another.
Yeah, so I'm planning on spending at least 1 this week to have 2 ready for the blank week.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I'll come back to that in a moment. So I'll tell you what team I've got as it stands. I brought Sanchez back in. I've got Cancelo, Trippier, and I've brought Anderson back on the bench for James, who's got the knock. Anderson's back to play in, and in the past has earned pretty decent points. So I'm happy to have him back in the team. I've stuck with the same 5 at the moment with Trossard, Martinelli, Salah, Zaha, Gross across the middle, and Tony and Haaland still at the top. I think I'd prefer to have brought Mitrovic in for one of my midfielders, but again, he's still on a yellow flag, so I've left him on the bench for the time being.
Yeah. Have you got any sort of transfer plan? Have you thought about what you're going to do if James
I
is out,
think
Mitrovic is out.
indeed, yeah. So I think I've got enough of a team to play without having to replace either of the injuries. And obviously, I'm intending to wildcard following the City Arsenal blank. So I was thinking I might take out Salah and replace him with somebody considerably cheaper to build my bank up. So when I come to make the other transfers next week, I can make everything I want to make. Also, I watched him play against Arsenal, and he just looks at a really low ebb at the moment, and he hasn't been scoring many points in the league.
I'm presuming you didn't see the Liverpool Rangers result from last night, then.
No. Provide a strong reason not to get rid of Salah, does it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, Salah was benched. He came off the bench. I think he scored a hat trick in 16 minutes, something like that. It's the fastest ever Champions League hat trick.
Okay, yeah, that might mean he's striking that vein of form. I mean, we've seen a few false dawns with people like Son, who was scored a hat trick and then returned to sort of normalcy the game after. But
they're a tough one. I kept saying it about James. Like he kept playing really well in the Champions League for Chelsea, and I was like, the points are coming. Like he's not playing badly, and then back to the league. And apparently he had a knock this week, James, and that's why he wasn't risked from the start, but was good enough to come on. But then picked up what looked like a hamstring injury.
Another knock.
Yeah, I haven't heard any real details about it yet. I don't think we will until the press conference, but.
No,
I'd sort of be surprised if he plays this week.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like, I'll be honest, like, from your point of view, I think it makes more sense to just get rid of those players that are like, kind of doubtful to play. Like, James in particular is one of the most expensive defenders. He's actually not one of the most expensive defenders, but most of the ones above him price-wise are also injured. Like Robertson's coming back, but I don't know anyone who'd risk throwing Robertson in when he's not started a game for 4 weeks.
No.
Trent's now out as well. Cancelo's got Liverpool and then a blank. Obviously, you already own him, but it seems a mad. He's really a lot of people have brought in Cancelo this week. I think he's the second most brought in player, but that seems madness to me. But I think, like, for me, I could consider benching James because I'm planning on holding him long term, and so I will get that value back out of him. Like if I have to bench him for 2 weeks and he's back, that's worth considering. But for you, you can just bring him back in on a wild card if he's fit, if you want him long term, and if you don't, it doesn't matter anyway. And yeah, I think the one premium option is looking strong, and I think you should definitely consider it on wildcard. Although I will say Liverpool's fixtures then up until the World Cup are pretty good, but I'm not sure I would go with Salah, but I'd probably leave him in until a wildcard if it was me.
My other consideration then was probably probably Martinelli following. I mean, I think you're right about James. He's 6 million of unused capital at the moment, so that would make a lot of sense. I considered Martinelli as well because I still have 3 players between City and Arsenal, and I can sort of probably get away with benching 2 of them. But my third bench option is Tanganga, who is very unlikely to play. So I think I need to at least reduce that down to 2 as a maximum.
I think from your point of view, like this is the advantage of having the wild card, because I think for me, my bench is not quite as bad as yours, I'd say. But I've got Nico Williams sitting on the bench who lost his place this week. I'm probably just going to bench all 3, I think, and probably start Nico Williams because I really don't want to waste a transfer on it. Like realistically, he's going to sit on the bench for the rest of the up until the World Cup for me. He's never going to play. And really, what was I expecting from him if he started? Probably a 2-pointer. If he doesn't play at all, it loses me 2 points. It just doesn't seem worth a transfer on it. And yeah, from your point of view, like Haaland, I don't think you can consider getting rid of even on a blank because you just lose so much value on him. He's gone up so much. And Martinelli has as well, which I would lose because I've had him since the start of the season. I don't know how much he's like what you bought him for, but I don't think you'd lose a massive amount on him. And Cancelo has gone up, I think 0.2, so you would lose
6 point. Yeah, I bought him for 6.4. He's worth 6.5.
Yeah, so you'd lose 0.1 on him, and you'd lose 0.1 on Cancelo as well. But I think the consideration of getting rid of, one or both of those in the next 2 weeks and really attacking that, I think it's worth losing that value for the players that you can bring in, particularly because they're getting 0 points and the players on your bench, that would replace them. Like you say, Tanganga's definitely also getting 0 points.
Yeah.
So for this week, I wanted to quickly go through what I thought the best sort of options were as replacements for James. A lot of people have got Trent as well, who's also out. So all kind of need replacing. I kind of shortlisted a few options. I will say they're all downgrades because there just isn't really the option, I think, to upgrade for them. So I think you could go to Cucurella, which I think is the most. I think he's probably the most nailed in the Chelsea team, aside from Reece James, sort of fitness allowing. Koulibaly probably as well, but I think Cucurella offers slightly more attacking points. I mentioned Matt Doherty last week as a 2 point. Like for you, I think as a 2-game option, it's slightly risky because he's still not guaranteed to start. But Emerson Royale's definitely missing the next 2. So he's sort of nominally their only right wing back. And I know that he could play Perisic on the right, but yeah, he's the only actual right wing back. And he's so attacking, and Tottenham's defence is better than the other options that I have, which was looking at possibly a Wolves defender or a Brighton defender, simply because they've both got good fixtures over the next couple of weeks. I think Brighton, I'd probably go for Lewis Dunk, but it could easily be Webster as well. They're both guaranteed to play, and I think it would have to be Kilman from Wolves. Yeah, I'm really considering making the Jane swap this week, even though, like I say, I could potentially hold him. I think the Mitrovic news had influence on that as well. Mitrovic, I'm more inclined to hold.
Yeah.
But I was looking at players like, I think Dominic Solanke's the easiest one just to downgrade Mitrovic to. He got 2 assists this week. I wouldn't expect him to do that regularly, but
no.
But he's just
still getting points.
Yeah, he's cheap and cheerful, and I think he'll pitch in. At West Ham, I think that Scamacca is now first choice in front of Antonio, so he's pretty decent call. 2 goals in his last 2 games. Danny Welbeck's not the worst shout, but it's very hard to know, new manager at Brighton, what his minutes are going to be like. Plus, he's never really been a prolific goal scorer, but similar to Solanke, he's cheap. And one thing that I'm kind of considering, and I think is ridiculous, but I'm honestly considering if I downgraded James, I could upgrade to Firmino for Mitrovic.
It's weird how good a season Firmino's having, but he does seem to be in a hot streak of form at the moment.
I think the thing that worries me is that even though he's been playing really well and scoring goals, which is not part of his normal game.
No, not Mummy's DNA.
Like Klopp still doesn't seem to want to. Like I still think he's slightly out of favour, but with Diaz injured until after Christmas now, it's another player out of the attacking options for them. Liverpool's attack's still been good. It's just their defence has been dire. And the other players have kind of scored the goals that Salah hasn't, because Salah's numbers are so far down. And I think it's just it's skewed from an opinion of Firmino over the years. Like he's always been a terrible FPL option.
Yeah.
Because he plays really well. He gets the odd assist, but he doesn't score enough goals to justify his price tag. And his price tag's high because he's in one of the best attacks in the league.
Yeah. How much is he worth at the moment?
Well, it's 8 million, and that's why it's also tempting for me, because I wouldn't mind a punt for a couple of weeks. Even though he plays City this week, I still think Liverpool will probably score. I think City will win, but I think Liverpool will probably score. And it could be Firmino. I'd consider him as a captaincy option, possibly in 12, without having Haaland as an option. And after that, I could swap him to Jesus, who's the same price, who was somebody I was eyeing up getting in immediately after the blank anyway. And if Firmino plays really well and looks like his place is nailed, I could possibly get rid of Kane and get Jesus instead.
Yeah.
Instead of Kane, and that frees up a load of cash. So if Mitrovic is back fit, it's going to be hard to make that move, I think. But if he's out, it's a genuine temptation for me.
Yeah, good call.
So who are you looking for at captaincy for this week?
It's just still Haaland, even with the Liverpool game. If anybody's going to score another hat-trick, it's probably going to be him. So
yeah,
nothing's really changed there. I mean, watching the Southampton game, it did cross my mind, like, is this the first week? It just doesn't come off for him. He had plenty of chances, hit the post, and it just didn't seem to be squaring up. But of course, it happened in the end. So my faith is not yet shattered.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I actually ran through my team, but my team, I pretty much know what my team's going to be, kind of regardless of the changes.
Mm-hmm.